Hello and shalom. This is J. Rivka Asulin, founder and executive director of Ancient Roots Israel. I'm also known as Wise Woman Fertility, and I've recently added Madrichat Kala services to Wise Woman Fertility. If you know of a Kala who's looking for a unique Kala experience, send her my way. I'm kind of navigating the wild weed garden right now while I make this introductory message, but I wanted to welcome you as usual and tell you to roll up your sleeves to the elbows. Uncover your hair if your hair is covered. Hike up your pants. Be in your bare feet. There's my bare feet. And I'm recording this on a video, not on WhatsApp right now, so I know you can see my bare feet. And hike up your skirts, whatever it is that you need to do to expose as much of your largest organ, your skin, to the sun. 15 minutes a day is all it takes to build and maintain a healthy immune system. That vitamin D from the sun, one of the sun's most wonderful gifts for us. It's so important. It's so important during Corona times and every day. So today, I'd like to cover a tree. The symbol of Ancient Roots Israel is a tree where you can see the branching pattern and the root pattern are almost the same, and there's so much symbolism to the tree. We Jews call that the tree of life, but every culture, I mean from African tribal cultures to the Celtic cultures, just spanning the globe, use the tree of life symbolism as a metaphor. Anyway, Ancient Roots Israel is held on Tu B'Shvat, and it will be held, Bezrat Hashem, on Tu B'Shvat 2021, January 26th through 28th. That's still kind of, we're gently releasing that news because we obviously need to see what the legal restrictions will be on international conferences come end of January. But anyway, I'd like to cover a tree, and this is the tree right behind me. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you the name right away, but I want you to be thinking about it. And especially if we have Christians with us today, I'm going to cover a little bit of Christian lore about this tree behind me. So I'll go ahead and flip the camera and make a new video. Okay, so I've flipped the camera, and I just want to show you this tree. It happens to be in bloom right now. It blooms almost right after the almond tree. And maybe we'll cover the almond tree next. And I just want to show you these blossoms. Aren't these amazing? Hang on. Let me see if I can get a better focus. There we go. Well, for a second. There we go. Aha. Okay. They kind of remind me of pea flowers, a little bit. Whoop. There we go. Anyway, here's some that are a bit past. Here's these beautiful leaves. I actually put it up on an Ancient Roots Israel post. Okay, these beautiful heart-shaped leaves. So pretty. And this tree is called, in Hebrew, Klil HaChoresh, which means crowned. Hang on, let me try to focus that better. There we go. Still figuring out how to use this phone. Okay. Crown of the forest. Or we could say the crown tree of the forest. I'm just trying to get the breadth and scope of the tree. Okay. And there are different species here. One of them is called a Judas tree. And here's your Christian folklore for you Christians or those who are interested in Christian folklore. The tree, I just want to show you for perspective before I tell you this story. Okay, here's the second story of my house. And the tree is reaching right up about there. Now, it's not going to get much higher from what I understand. So they call this the Judas tree because in Christian lore, Judas actually hung himself on this tree. And this is really fascinating because the tree is quite short. I mean, look at the branches. Like, how high was Judas going to get? And the branches, they're not so like heavy and weight bearing. Okay, I'll pull on one so you can see. I mean, here. Can I reach this one? Yeah. Okay, so can you see that? I mean, it doesn't take much weight to pull that over. I hope you can see that. Okay, so it's kind of interesting, that bit of lore. Might be something to ponder or meditate on or research further if you're interested in that. But now I'm going to tell you another interesting story. Okay, so here's my new interesting story about this tree. Many times you see the almond, which I will show you in a bit, and that's the first tree to kind of bloom in Israel. And those have white blossoms, and I think all my blossoms are long gone, but this is usually the next to flower. And from a distance, because the almond blossoms are kind of maybe a whitish pink, and these are kind of a really vibrant pink, from a distance I always go, oh look, it must be, I'm also colorblind, but it must be an almond tree because nothing else is in bloom. But of course it isn't, because it's a different tree. And so one thing I noticed was herbalist Lita Meredith, who Bezvat Hashem, we haven't officially announced this yet, so you're getting the sneak peek information, but she will be one of our speakers, Bezvat Hashem, in Ancient Roots Israel 2021. But herbalist Lita Meredith talked a lot on her blog about foraging redbud blossoms. And I've been looking at those redbud blossoms going like, what the heck is a redbud? Wonder what those are all about. Well, sure enough, I decided to do some looking into this tree that I have growing right outside my bedroom window. Mom! And this is Cleely's placenta tree. This is Cleo. You're going to meet all the kids before this is on. Sure enough, this is a redbud tree right here. And what does that mean? That means that you can eat these blossoms. Lita describes them as green beans with lemon tasting. I don't know. I'll eat one for you right now. Hang on. Well, they're better before they've opened, but there's like a sour tang to it.
Find it everywhere. I find it everywhere, and you find it. And
you can find this tree just about anywhere. They're really tasty, great on salads, and of course you can cook them, but they're better to eat raw. And you can pickle them, and Lita has a recipe for that. And then look at the new growth coming out of this tree. I'm going to make another video for that because my time's going to run out. Okay, so you see this new growth coming out of the tree. I'll show it to you here. It's just kind of coming out. No, don't squirt me with that squirt gun. Okay, so just kind of coming out from the base right here. Out it goes. And this new growth has got these leaves on it. And guess what? These young leaves are also edible. You can eat those too. You can cook them. You can eat them raw, whatever you want. Lita actually taught me that because once I had identified the tree, I contacted Lita and I said, is this the redbud? So we got to exchange information because she didn't know the Hebrew name. And of course, I didn't know the English name. So we were able to trade that information. But here you go. Here's an example of a young leaf. You can see the difference between an older leaf and the young leaves. The older leaves, don't have that kind of shiny surface. Here's some more that are young and shiny. And you can eat those. So, in fact, I'm going to eat one right now. That almost, there's like some tannins and like a slight bitterness to it. It's really interesting. I would definitely classify those young leaves as a bitter. Anyway, you can see the buds that are just, they're hanging onto the tree and they're hanging off of the branches. I just want to get one more close-up of that. There you go. So that's how they look on the tree. And maybe we'll pause here for some questions. Okay, so there is the redbud, Cercis in Latin. All of the Cercis, I might be saying it wrong, but that's the Latin name. All of them are edible. Lida taught me that. So right there is the almond tree. And I may try to find you a picture of almond blossoms just so that you could see it. But let's go ahead and identify this tree right here. It's going to be easy, a little bit easier because of that. You see that? This tree has not been a big producer for us, but there you go. This is shaked. In Hebrew, somehow, and Hebrew isn't my first language, but it is related to a word meaning quickly, because it is the first tree to go into blossom with these beautiful white blossoms that smell just like honey. And here's the almond right here in its little pod and its shell, growing away. We might get a good yield this year. Here's the leaves. The leaves are very interesting. This tree has struggled for us, so it might not be the best specimen. As you can see, it's been attacked by something or other, but let's take a look here at these leaves. They're kind of shiny, related to, my hand. They're fairly small, about the size of maybe my thumb. Okay. Shiny tops. And let's have a look at the bottom. Dull bottoms. Kind of clustered together here. Obviously, if you see the almonds on it, I'm trying to get you some of these other almonds. There we go. See all those almonds? Oh my gosh, that's actually a pretty good harvest. You should be able to know the almond. But, these are, again, the first tree that blossoms right here, the second tree that blossoms right there. And so, once we're done with our one blossoms, we've got the next one. Can you see these almonds? Here, I'm going to try to zoom in. Pretty neat. You can see the size of them. Look at that. Here's a big old mallow hanging out next to that tree, which we've already covered mallow. I don't have a ton to say about it. Outside of recognizing those blossoms, the blossoms smell like honey. You can use them. You can make tea out of them. They don't withstand heat very well. Almonds are known for all sorts of great things.